Hey guys, welcome back to the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. My name is Alicia, and today I want to show you all some of our favorite Dollar Tree spring/Easter wreaths. So go ahead, click the subscribe button, hit the little bell so you're notified every time we post, and let's go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, so I've gathered everything for the first one. I saw these cute little beaded hanging door wood signs. These are so cute. We're gonna add a little farmer's market decal to this by using one of our Maker's Gonna Learn files. I grabbed some beautiful florals from the Dollar Tree. Y'all, these are gorgeous. From the Dollar Tree, there's lavender. I mixed in just some whites. I didn't want anything super colorful, so kind of stayed neutral with a pop of color. I've got some Dollar Tree ribbon here. And then this is the bicycle wheel wreath ring. We're gonna use this, but I'm gonna spray paint it white so it's a little bit more springy. I've got a standard grip mat. I'm also gonna be cutting white HTV for our little chalkboard sign so it kind of looks like a chalkboard. I've got hot glue, a little mini easy press. And for all of these wreath tutorials, I want you all to have just your standard wreath supply sitting around. So hot glue, mini easy press, zip ties if you need them. And that way you all are gonna be ready to make all of the wreaths with us. Okay, so for this wreath, I'm gonna be using the Farmer's Market file off of the Maker's Gonna Learn website. Go ahead and pull that into Design Space. And then once you get it in here, you're gonna want to resize it so that it fits actually on your sign. Now, I did not want any of these small letters just because it's going on a wreath, and I feel like you can't read that if it's on a door or something like that. It's just a little bit too small. So you can actually go in and delete all of that just because we're not gonna be using it. And I'm just going to select the file, ungroup it all, and then I'm gonna select everything we don't want and delete it. Then I'm going to make sure everything's centered up. And then let's go ahead and measure our sign. So this sign is about 8.5 by 5 3/4. I'm just going to make a shape that is those exact measurements, and then I'm going to resize my letters to fit within the parameters. I'm also going to go ahead and turn these to white just so we get a better visual and bring them to the front. Perfect. Okay, so this has dried, so I'm just kind of playing around with placement. I think I'm gonna have this here, and then we'll do some flowers here. So I'm gonna start off by weeding out all of these letters for our sign, and you just really wanna make sure with small details like this that you are not accidentally weeding off an important part of the letters, like the dots of your eyes and small details like that. I went ahead and turned on my Cricut Mini Easy Press to the medium heat setting. That way it is ready to go once we're done weeding. And then you're just gonna place it on there and apply heat all over. I like to do a worm peel here and just be very careful whenever you're pulling off your carrier sheet that you're not actually taking any of that heat transfer vinyl with you. You can see that I did that on one small area. It's totally fine though, you can't even tell. And then I'm making a bundle of flowers here. I'm gonna go ahead and tie it together with some jute twine. You could use a zip tie here, whatever you've got on hand. And then I'm gonna be creating a really pretty bow. This is Dollar Tree ribbon as well. We've got lots of tutorials on the channel going over how to make bows like this. A lot of people are very interested in these types of bows, so we put together a video for y'all. It's very fun. And then you're gonna dovetail your bow on the tails. I'm just attaching it with some more jute twine, and then I'm gonna attach the whole bouquet to the wreath using some more of the jute twine. Now you can use zip ties here as well if you feel like that's gonna be more secure, but honestly, it felt fine and it works great for us. And then I'll flip it back over and I'm gonna attach our little farmer's market sign with some hot glue. So I'm just attaching it up there at the top and then along the prongs of the wheel. And I'm gonna take some extra hydrangea flowers that I had and kind of add like a small accent along the bottom of that sign, just to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit. And then you are done. Absolutely love how this turned out, you guys. Okay, so for this one, we're going to be using the gold hoop wreaths from the Dollar Tree. And as you can see, I've already went ahead and cut this using some wire cutters. Now you're gonna need some heavy duty ones to cut through this because it's pretty thick. What we're gonna do is add some floral foam, and then I've got a bunch of really beautiful Dollar Tree florals we're gonna add. And then I picked up this little butterfly from the wooden cutout section. And I've got some paint here. I'm gonna try to match this paint color to these little butterflies. And we're gonna kind of add those all around. I have my hot glue gun, a paintbrush, some extra hot glue gun sticks. And that's about all we need. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm just taking a little bit of this white chalk paint mixed with a little bit of the robin's egg blue to match the color of my cardstock butterflies. I did go ahead and cut out these cardstock butterflies using my Cricut and some Maker's Gonna Learn files. I just am trying to match it as close as I can. Obviously it takes a little bit of experimenting, but these MDF cutouts are so perfect for wreaths, and I really, really think you guys are gonna love how this one turns out. I'm gonna set that to the side to dry. I've got my foam square right here, and I'm going to cut that wreath in half and just on one side, and then I'm gonna add some hot glue and stick it into the sides of my floral foam. And then I'm just removing the tags, and I'm gonna start with adding my greenery in on each side, kind of trying to make it symmetrical, but you have the free will to put your flowers wherever you want. I like to kind of make this specific wreath pretty symmetrical. So I'm gonna go in with my biggest flowers first, and then we'll add in the accent flowers as we go. Then I'm going in and I'm adding the hydrangeas in, and I'm just putting hot glue on the ends of all of these flowers to make sure that they are really secure in that floral foam. And then I'm gonna add in some of these orange accent flowers to everything. Just kind of placing them where I feel like it needs a little bit more extra something. And then you can see me here placing this butterfly because I'm trying to figure out exactly how I need to fill in the floral foam behind the butterfly, because I really do not want that to show. So I like to place the butterfly on and then kind of plug flowers where I think they should go, and then you can glue them accordingly. So just play around with that. It takes a second, but you'll get there. You just don't want it to cover up the butterfly, but you do want it to cover up that floral foam. And I'm gonna hot glue the MDF butterfly on there. And then I'm just turning it upside down to make sure that I cannot see any of that floral foam. You can even take some greenery leaves that you have left over and kind of plug those in any empty holes. And then I'm placing the butterflies where I want them and then individually gluing them on. So I like to place them just to see where I want them first. And then I'm manually taking a scoring stylus and adding a crease so that the butterflies look like they're fluttering, which is super cute. And then I'm just going back in and gluing everything to the wreath. Okay, so for this wreath, we were thinking like neutral boho bunny. And so the Dollar Tree has started carrying these really, really cute little wooden wreaths. And this one's a little bit bent because I was kind of playing around with what I wanted to do. And I'm still unsure if it's gonna work. So you guys are gonna watch in real time and me try to figure out how I wanna do this, because I'm thinking I wanna add these beads to the bunny ears. And then we're gonna take some of this nautical rope from the Dollar Tree and I'm gonna fill in the face. And then I was thinking we could add like a cute bow in between. So I've got my hot glue gun ready. I've got some handy dandy wire cutters. These are like heavy duty ones. And then I've got some scissors and we can go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I'm gonna start by breaking apart this wooden wreath, and then I'm just putting the beads on to the ears of the bunny. Now, this is a little bit time consuming, but honestly, y'all, this wreath turns out so good. I would say that it's worth it. You can actually see where I'm trying to experiment with how to actually reattach the wires of these bunny ears. Y'all, do not hot glue them. That is not the way. I even tried to hot glue and then tape it while it dried. That's also not the way. But I did figure out that I could just take my needle nose pliers and I create a hook on the bottom of each of the ears so that it grabs the face of the bunny, and so that way it stays attached, and that is not gonna move. Like that little hoop, it's gonna stay there. The hot glue method is not the one. You can see that it immediately broke once I detached it. But you know, crafting is trial and error. So then I'm just creating a little J shape, and that's how it's staying attached to the bunny's face. And then what I'm gonna do is start wrapping this rope around the bunny's face. I like to put a little bit of hot glue to start it, and then I'll wrap it for about 6 or 7 inches and then glue it again. Now, if you wanted to glue it as you went with every single wrap, you could totally do that. But honestly, it felt really secure the way that I was doing it. So I just continued, and it still looks really, really good. I like to add glue right beneath the ears because the rope was trying to separate a little bit just because there's kind of a gap. So I'm gluing right where the ears meet the face of the bunny. And there's a pretty big gap in between both of the ears, but we're gonna be adding a bow so you won't even see it. So here I'm creating another bow. Like I said, we've got a tutorial on these bows on our channel if you all are curious about how to make something like this. And then I'm just plugging the wire through the back of the bunny ear and creating a little loop so that you can actually hang it. I'm dovetailing the tails here, and then you are done. This is one of my favorites. How cute is that? So for this wreath, I gathered the cutest little carrots from the Dollar Tree. I just got 3 in 3 different patterns. I've got some floral wire. This is from Hobby Lobby. You can get floral wire at the Dollar Tree, I believe. We just ran out. So this is what I had on hand, and you honestly are not gonna need a lot of it for this project, just a few pieces. I've got some burlap ribbon. Now this is from the Dollar Tree, and it's in the $3 to $5 section. So I grabbed 2 rolls of that. I've actually used some of this one already, but I think 2 rolls is gonna get me through this size wreath. I've got some florals. I bought this cute little Dollar Tree sign, and they have these in different shapes. I used it earlier in the video. This square one I thought would be perfect. And then I've just got a square wreath form. I also have things like wire cutter, scissors, and hot glue laying around just in case we need it. And you're gonna need a mini easy press because we're gonna be making an HTV sign with this little frame. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on our medium heat setting and let it heat up while we make the burlap wreath. So I am trying to create like this scrunchy burlap wreath effect here, and I'll be honest with you guys, the ribbon was not wanting to cooperate with me along with the wire. And so I thought I've got to take a different route. You can see me contemplating live, trying to figure out how in the world I'm going to do this. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to wrap it and it's still going to give that cute burlap effect. And I just tried to evenly space the burlap wrapping, like I wanted it to be about 2 inches of burlap showing. And then I went ahead and glued at the end of that first piece of ribbon, and then I'm gonna start again, just wrapping this all the way around until we completely cover the wreath form. And then I'm just playing around with the placement of the carrots and the sign. And here I'm adding some HTV with one of the Makers Gonna Learn carrot patch sign files. This file is so stinking cute and it goes perfectly with the theme of our wreath. Here I'm just removing all of the tags and extra strings that we don't need. I'm gonna kind of bunch these together. I tried to do it with the thick rope and it was just not looking great. So I went back to the jute rope and I actually glued these together so they wouldn't move. And then I tied a little bow around them. And then I'm just going to attach them with some hot glue, both the sign and the carrot. And then add in some floral accents. Okay, so for this one, I just grabbed some of these super cool little flower seeds from the Dollar Tree. I've got the natural jute rope. I got 3 or 4 here, but we're gonna see how much we need because I'm gonna be wrapping the wreath with this. I've got a measuring tape, some jute cord. I have a burnishing tool. I'm gonna be saving the flower seeds, so I have a Ziploc baggie here too. And then I've got these cute little flower pots from a craft we did recently. I may try to incorporate these, but we will see. So let's go ahead and get started. So I am just removing all of the seeds from the flower packets. Obviously, we cannot cut these on the Cricut if there are seeds in our flower packets. So I'm removing everything, and you're gonna wanna remove the back side of those flower packets as well before you put them on the mat. Otherwise, it's not gonna cut very well. And then here, we're kind of doing the same process as our bunny wreath. I am gluing the tail end of this jute rope and then gluing it again every like 6 or so inches to make sure it's really secure. And I wasn't sure if I was gonna have enough jute rope. So you can see that I add some jute rope on one side and then I mirror it on the other side. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm thinking if it's symmetrical, I can at least figure out how to fill in the open spots. And so that's kind of my creative process there. But I actually end up having a little bit of extra jute rope. It's not Dollar Tree, it's just some we had laying around. And it wasn't the same exact size, but the colors were really similar. And so I just used that. You know, we like to use what we've got around here. So it worked out perfectly. I did attach the jute rope to the back side of the wreath. That way you can't see where I actually glued it. But you can see I'm just trying to kind of plan out where I'm wanting my flower pots to go as I'm making the wreath. This is where I brought in reinforcements because I ran out of my Dollar Tree jute rope, which is totally fine because you honestly cannot even tell. And I also plan to put my flower pots over it, so you're really not going to be able to notice much at all. Y'all, this moss was everywhere. It was on everything. I'm going in and gluing my flower pots to that smaller jute rope area just to kind of disguise it a little bit. And then I'm gonna go over into design space. Okay, so I measured my little flower seed packets and they're a little bit over 3 inches by 4 inches. So what I'm gonna do is go into my shapes and I'm just gonna pull one of these little shapes down here and I'm gonna rotate this like so. And then I'm gonna unlock the shape and I wanna make little tiny flags out of these seed packets. And so they need to be a little bit smaller than the proportions of the seed packets. So we're gonna do it 3 width by 4 in height. And you can make these as big or as small as you want. Just make sure they fit within the size parameters of your actual seed packets. You also don't want to make them too big because it'll take up a lot of area on your wreath. Okay, I decided to make them a little bit smaller. So now they're 2 by 2.5 and I can actually get 2 flags per seed packet. So I've got 4 packets of seeds. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this 8 times. Okay, and then we're going to go to make it. And now I have my seed packets in each of the 4 corners. So I'm just going to drag 2 flags to each corner. And then we're going to select continue. And I'm going to cut these with the heavy cardstock setting. And then send it through the Cricut. So I used the wrong cut settings for these. I went to cut them and it cut out and like messed up my seed packet. So go ahead and change the cut setting to light cardstock. And I also cut off the back of the seed packet. So we're just cutting out the front of the seed packets. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove these from the Cricut mat. I'm laying them out exactly how I want them and then cutting a piece of jute twine the length of the wreath. I'm just going to add a little strip of glue and attach our tiny flags. Y'all, I'm obsessed with this tiny bunting flag. It's like the cutest thing ever. And then we're going to attach it across our wreath. So you can play around with the placement. I kind of wanted mine going at an angle. And then I'm just going to attach it with some hot glue and trim the edges. And then I'm going back, adding in my moss. You could add in some little flowers if you wanted to. I thought I would do flowers and I wasn't really feeling that. So I actually go back and add some moss to the front of my pots. So it kind of looks like a deconstructed floral wreath situation. This is definitely a different take on a wreath, but I think it turned out really fun. Okay, so for this one, I first of all am obsessed with this wreath form. This is in the $3 to $5 section at the Dollar Tree. This is $5, but like so cute and so many different ways that you could do this. Honestly, it comes with this chicken wire in the ears. I'm gonna cut that out. And we're gonna add a flower crown onto this. So super easy update and only gonna take us probably 10 minutes altogether. So let's go ahead and cut these out and then just go ahead and grab your favorite Dollar Tree florals and we're gonna add those right here. So I'm gonna start by taking out all of those wires, just using some pliers. This came out actually relatively easy, but it's very sharp, so be super careful. If you wanted to add flowers in there, you totally could. I just thought it would be cute to do a little bunny flower crown. So I'm gonna take it out, clean up my area, And then we're gonna go ahead and start gluing on our florals. I like to start with my greenery as usual, and then I go in with my bigger flowers and then add in accent flowers as I go. These grapevine wreaths are kind of porous, so you can actually plug these flowers directly into the bunny. Just make sure you're putting hot glue on the tips of all of them so they're adhering to something. Okay, so for this one, it's already a mess, but I got as much reindeer moss as I possibly could. This is like the green moss. I got this beautiful like grayish blue ribbon and a cross wreath form. I am going to attempt to glue the moss to this cross, a moss cross, if you will, and I'm gonna see if it sticks. There's probably a better method than what I'm about to show you. But this is crafting, there's no rules, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. If it doesn't work, we'll reevaluate. Okay, let's get into it. So I start by thinking I can just place the moss willy-nilly on this wreath and just add some glue. Y'all, that is not the way. Do not do what I did. I quickly realized that's not gonna work and decide I'm gonna use some of my jute rope and kind of space it out all the way across the cross. And then I'm gonna go ahead and place my moss afterwards. So I'm spacing it out so it's kind of creating this grid-esque vibe, and that way nothing's gonna be falling through the cracks. And this actually works really well. This turns out to be a very beautiful wreath. So you all will see here shortly how well it actually works. I thought, I don't know, I didn't trust the process at the beginning, but the end results really changed my mind, so. Then I'm just adding glue all over the rope as well as the metal parts of the cross. And I'm doing this in sections so that my glue doesn't dry, and just adding moss as I go, pulling off any extra moss. This is a real moss, so you can actually keep these and hang them on your door. I usually recommend spraying them with just like a spray water bottle. That kind of keeps them fresh. Otherwise, it will kind of start to brown. Okay, so I am going to add a saying to the bow that I'm gonna put onto this cross. So I'm just gonna make this about 7 wide by 1.5, which is the width of my bow. So I'm just gonna kind of be putting it on the tail, and I'm gonna use a Maker's Gonna Learn font, and I just want to put He Has Risen on it for Easter. And let's use the Demonstrate font. Okay, while that cuts, I'm gonna go ahead and make my bow. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a bow out of this beautiful pale blue Dollar Tree ribbon. And I'm actually gonna iron the heat transfer vinyl onto the bow, which I think is a nice little touch. It's nothing over the top. It's very dainty and delicate, but I really, really like how it turned out. I did use some like chrome bronze heat transfer vinyl, so that added a little extra touch as well. I'm just using the medium heat setting for this and doing a warm peel. And then I'm just attaching it with a little bit of hot glue on the back. You could also wire this in if you felt more comfortable with that, but ours has stayed really well and I am pretty happy with it. So I hope after you all got to see all of these different wreaths, you were at least inspired to make your own. Make sure to get to your Dollar Tree today if you can. This stuff sells out so fast every single year. So we try to get our items as soon as we can. We stockpile everything. That way we've got it when we need it. And honestly, y'all, you're gonna find stuff there that you love that's gonna inspire you to make your own wreaths. So go ahead, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button and make sure to check out our other Easter and Spring DIYs that are gonna be coming up. We've got tons of other tutorials on the channel that you all can watch and see different types of crafts for yourself. We will see you all in the next video. Bye.